RJ here, hanging out at the Young Hollywood studio, and we are with one of the most iconic performers of all time, the one and only David Copperfield.
How are you?
Welcome, how are you?
It's good to be here.
Good to have you here, thanks for coming.
Yeah, good to be at your house.
Right, exactly, it literally is. It has become our house. Taken a long time to get you here. I'm glad we finally made you appear.
Thank you so much.
So, you know, it's amazing because you've been doing this a long time, but you still continue to keep your shows and everything really fresh and really relevant. What do you think the key has been to that, the longevity for all these years?
I love doing what I do, you know. I love the audiences. There's always new and fresh audiences at the MGM, and constantly come up with new things. In fact, I asked you today, the first thing I asked you is, did you see the new thing that I'm doing? Because you mentioned you were at the show.
Right.
And you said that you were at the show. I said, well, did you see this?
Right.
Just because I'm trying to say, well, what's your criticism? What do you like? What didn't you like? Well, how can we make it better? And that's really the answer to the question. I'm trying to always make it better and find new and fresh ways of doing what I do and to take it into new directions.
So is it like an evolving learning process? Do you find you're still continuing to learn new things?
I learn every day, you know, and I listen. You know, one of my best qualities is and I've got a lot of bad qualities, but one of my best qualities is I'm a good listener.
And you know, you're always taking your audience on these amazing journeys. You know, are there any amazing journeys that just stick out in your mind that really inspired you? Any places you've been or anything?
I mean, I get inspiration from everything but magic usually. You know, the cinema was a big inspiration to me. You know, my idols weren't Houdini and Keller and Thurston. My idols were Victor Fleming and Orson Welles and Walt Disney, and I got a lot of inspiration from the ways they took their art form, the cinema, and did amazing things with it. And I tried to do the same thing with magic, and it worked out good.
Yeah, it definitely did. You know, and speaking of amazing things, Amazing Race now, something new for you. You know, it's a little bit different. What's that whole experience been like, helping with these illusions?
Well, what we're doing is we created a whole kind of a challenge for them, and I'm sworn to secrecy, and I'm horrible at keeping secrets, as you know. But they came to me and asked me if I could collaborate with them and design something that would be really exciting for their finale episode. And you know, for years I've been doing big escapes and kind of challenges. This kind of thing is exactly what I know how to do, but I would take 2 years to create each of those illusions, or those escapes. Really, they weren't really illusions, they were escapes. And I had 2 months before their deadline to do this. And what's really amazing is that it had to be done multiple times. In other words, there's multiple teams.
Right.
Normally in magic, you do something once and never do it again. Imagine if on my show I'd repeat the illusion, it'd be hard. You know, when you get a magic kit as a kid, they say, you know, only do the trick once because, you know, it'll get boring and they'll figure it out. We had to create something that could be done multiple times. So what you'll see is pretty exciting, and it didn't work out exactly as we expected, which makes it even more exciting.
Right.
And there's a bit of life-threatening thrills to it. So
we were talking about the contestants on Amazing Race. If you were one of those, how do you think you would do?
I think I'd do good.
Yeah?
I think I'd do good. I mean,
Did you win it?
I think so. I think I could, you know, be definitely in the end group. You know, I like the whole idea of physical challenges.
And what do you think's challenged you the most physically? Because you were talking about a bunch of the things that you've done. What was the hardest on your body that you were like, oh my goodness, how am I gonna get through this?
I did an escape from Alcatraz, and it was
I remember that.
A multi-stage kind of thing. I had to escape from behind dogs. These guard dogs are barking at me, and I had to get out of a straitjacket in a cell. And part of it was illusion, and part of it was escapes. But that was pretty cool.
And how do you come up with this stuff? I mean, it's something like you'll be in the shower one day and you're like, oh my goodness, I have a great idea.
It's funny you say that. Shower is a really great place for me
Right,
for some reason. Yeah, used to be airplanes, but no more. A shower is great. Source of you know, I don't know, something about it. Why did you say shower just then?
I come up with a lot of ideas there. That's what I was thinking.
Really?
Yeah, it just
and
seems
why
like
does it work for you, do you think?
Quiet, you don't have other things going on, you don't have distractions, and I think you could just sort of
The mantra of the
focus.
water,
Yeah.
And clean. Being clean is good.
Yeah, being clean is
Clean
definitely-
slate.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. The clean slate. You know, you've got just some amazing things that you've created outside of magic. You know, obviously Copperfield Bay now at Musha Cay is, you know, sounds spectacular. Take us through that. If someone were to go there, what would the experience be like?
It's this amazing, amazing place that we decided, well, if you were me, what would you do with a resort? You know, you'd have treasure hunts that were like movies, you know, so we have pirates, and people can choose to do this. They can do nothing, or they can choose to have actors, pirates who are actors, or some real pirates, I'm not so sure. And there's music playing out of the trees, and you levitate as part of the clues on the beach in the full sunlight. The treasure appears, and you go from island to island on this huge treasure. And I spent so much of my time finding the artifacts to put as the puzzles. I would go to antique stores and swap meets and find old artifacts and built them into the puzzles and the clues.
And you're talking about movies as a lot of inspiration, and every movie's been done, but new filmmakers, Tarantino and whatnot, figure out a way to sort of do a fresh take on film. Is there a trick in particular, because a lot of magic tricks have been done, but you sort of make it your own variation? Is there one that really stands out that you did a fresh take to?
Well, right now, I mean, I'm working really hard on this thing that you'll see on the show. I'm testing out in front of audiences all the time, and it's okay. It's pretty good, but it's not where I want it to be. So I'm in the middle of the journey now. So we're slowly kind of evolving the show and finding new ways of doing it, and hopefully inspire people in the process.
Cool. And talking about movies, Now You See Me was something you were involved in. What's that like now when it's the big screen, and you're even looking at producing some projects of your own now? So that goes back to just the childhood of the Orson Welles.
It closes the circle of where I get all my inspiration from where it started. So it kind of makes really good sense that and I love it. The experience with Now You See Me, and also Burt Wonderstone, being involved with all those magic movies and so forth is great for us, because it's our way of giving back the inspiration that we got from all those that whole medium. And I've got a big museum.
I was just going to talk to you about that. Yeah. What in the museum is the most sentimental to you of all the people? I'm sure there are a lot, but is there one that?
Tons of stuff. I mean, there's automatons, which are just incredible. There's Houdini's water torture cell, the gun that shot Chung-Ling Soo and killed him, unfortunately. There's just all the writings of Robert Houdin, all his manuscripts and his notes. It's just incredible. It's like the Smithsonian of magic.
So what advice is there for someone that's an aspiring magician? How does one even do it?
One of my secrets is 3 words. It's passion, preparation, and persistence. You have to be really passionate about something, and you have to be a lot of preparation, obviously, to learn what you're doing and know it well, and then be persistent, because it's constant no's even to this day.
And another thing you've really been good about embracing, like technology and social media, and you're always one step forward, even like the iPhone, how you incorporate that in your show now. I
was telling some of your crew that the first person to show me text messaging was Francis Ford Coppola.
Really?
Yeah, because we were working on a Broadway show, and he said, "David, I got something. It's called text messaging." And he shows it to me, HELLO, hello. See, and you send it, and it works. I said, that took you so long to do that. You just say hello. He said, no, it's good. I said, no, it's never going to work. of course, I was wrong.
Right.
So now it's part of my show. I incorporate all those things in my show and try to embrace all of the technology and use it to amaze people, even with that.
You've been interviewed a ton. People are always asking you questions. Just curious, if you were interviewing yourself, what would be the question you would want to sort of ask yourself?
I think, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? And the answer is this is 2 things, and that's family and doing what you love, and that's it.
When other magicians perform,
yes,
what qualities do you look for? What makes somebody a good magician?
I think it's a particular point of view. If they have a particular point of view that's different, then it becomes interesting a little bit. Penn and Teller, very different from me, and have a very distinct point of view. David Blaine, very different than me, very different point of view, and unique style. And so I think it's having an approach that really sets them apart. And then there's tons of people that kind of copy, and that's
got to be frustrating.
Man, it's frustrating because it takes so long for each thing that you do.
And where do you see the future of magic going?
I think it's going to go in many different directions. It's going to take all this technology, like what we're doing in our show, and moving it forward, inventing new technology. I want to use magic to inspire people to become future scientists and future creators of things that'll help the world. I'd like to create magic that'll inspire the 6-year-old today to invent something amazing for real.
Thank you for coming down and hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. Congratulations with this.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Good to see you, David.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.